Today on the Terrible Warriors, we return to Star Trek Adventures for one last runabout through the living campaign. And after this story, we only have 2 more campaigns remaining in our regular season. In the very next campaign, we'll be playing Forbidden Lands by Free League Games, and we've teamed up with the Storm Crow Manor with their DM and Dine program to host a game of Forbidden Lands on April the 9th at 7 p.m. Check out our Facebook page for more information on this exclusive event, and visit dmdineto.com and request Justin Ecock for your next game at the Storm Crow Manor in Toronto. And now, I believe it's time to boldly return to Star Trek Adventures.
Space, the thing we have to cross.
These are the voyages of the U.S.S. Horizon.
Its ongoing mission, to seek out new life.
To swear it was unstunned the whole time.
And to boldly claim we can fix it.
Well, hey there, Terrible Warriors. I'm your Game Master, Justin Ecock, returning very quickly for more Star Trek Adventures. You thought I was done? Surprise! We are going to go right in from the Assessor's Gambit into the Displaced. This is the final episode in Modiphius' living campaign, and if you liked listening to our crappy run through of it, go check it out at Modiphius' website. They have all of these adventures available for free to download right now. There were even a few I've learned while we were getting ready for the Displaced that we missed. So we're not even getting the whole story by listening to the podcast if you want to play through it. There's also an entire thread in the 23rd century that we just completely ignored, so you can go out and enjoy that as well as a bunch of the people that we've interviewed here. Jim Johnson and Aaron Pollier have written additional adventures in printed books, Strange New Worlds and These Are the Voyages, which you can purchase at Modiphius' website as well, and they're really, really rad. I am obviously not alone, because if I was, this would be awkward, playing here with my crew from Starfleet, crew of the Horizon, and other ships, starting with our captain here, Captain Schofield.
That's right. I am Conal Macbeth, better known in the nerd community as Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terrawat, playing Captain Gavin Schofield.
So welcome back. How are you feeling here returning? You got the Horizon, but as we've been mentioning in the Assessor's Gambit, everyone's kind of going off and doing their thing. And then you had your whole ship kind of there was no closure at the end of that last story. Shields went up and
it just went crazy.
And he just kind of flicked his wrist.
But
folded space like origami.
Fully, I am thrilled if members of my crew go off and do bigger, better things. So I'm not upset that everybody's kind of growing up and moving out. I'm a proud father.
proud Captain Daddy.
Yes,
going
right.
My sons, as you wave generally at the crew.
My children.
And also returning from Assessor's Gambit, our first of 2 science officers.
Neil Tavares of Neil T. Tattoos, playing Lieutenant Commander Teth Chovaquil.
And do you still feel like an ant on the highway?
A little bit.
After that bit, we'll remind everyone, we'll go over a quick recap of what Assessor's Gambit was up to, in case you don't remember last time we recorded, because it was only 3 weeks ago. But also, our ship's counselor,
Erika Szabo. I am the Vulcan counselor, Tazar. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, and she dealt with a lot in the last episode. You were under fire, maybe for the first time, in a real tense situation there. Yep. You were trying to do everything you could to not fire phasers, and I was like, "You're probably gonna have to fire the phasers."
I was like, "I don't want to. Don't make me." But I think Tazar has.
I'm not gonna make you, but I'm gonna shoot you if you don't.
Yeah, I know you will. I gotta work on that.
Defend yourself.
Use that nerve pinch.
And our second of 2 of our counselors. Well, I mean, you've been doing a lot of emotional labor for everyone, but you're one of our scientists here. Welcome back.
Thank you. I am the Velvet Duke of the Dandies, and I'm playing Science Officer Lieutenant Commander Bo Lassa.
And Bo Lassa is quite different from your Dandies counterpart, aren't they?
There are many things that are similar. One is that we jump into the action. We're very hands-on with the science, but I think
a lot less mass genocide.
Well, that's I think,
that's debatable. You take exception to that, sir.
What I like to think is that the hands-on is much more hands-on, so it's a one-on-one treatment instead of planet-wide.
Yeah. I mean, you get to do a little bit more when you're dealing with Holodeck Follies in terms of the
scope of my
the scope of your transgressions. Yeah.
And because it's a comedy, it's a lot lighter when it happens, as opposed to this character where I take a lot of things personally.
Yeah, you do. Personally attacked. But also coming back, he wasn't here for Assessor's Gambit because he was busy being briefed by Starfleet Security on his new command position. Joshua, you're welcome back.
Yeah, Joshua Barbeau playing Commander Conal Haddock.
Conal Haddock.
Once again.
What was the last time we saw Conal Haddock?
I think it was 3 episodes
back. Was it
back?
Signals with
Signals.
with the Nebula and the away team and the miners and the Romulans? Were you there for that? Does that sound familiar? We were looking for a runabout that was disabled in the Nebula.
The last time I was there was there were 2 planets and they were warring.
Oh, the tug of war.
The tug of war. That's the last time I was there.
And you've been sick ever since. So
I missed Signals and I missed.
Yeah, I think I had you you came down with Talarian flu or something, and you were like thrown up in your quarters, and then you've just been called away, and then after we did a bit of a time jump, and everyone got reassigned. Mm-hmm. So the last time we played Assessor's Gambit, you were all sent to the Candidate 3 system after following up with a bunch of leads that you had gotten from other ships in the Shackleton Expanse that brought you in, following the breadcrumbs of the Tila Cal. And that brought you to this one planet where you found it was a planet covered entirely in stone ruins, like no oceans, no valleys, just a giant city or planet spanning city that all was funneling power into a central building, this like pentagonal shaped chamber that when you went into it, you found a transmission from this woman calling for help before the transmission was cut off. You also met an alien there named Assessor Tredick. We don't know what Assessor means. That's a title he has given himself. That crazy, like quintuply jointed fingers, very tall character who could speak directly into your minds. But while on the planet, you also were racing against the Romulans who had arrived at the same time. Everyone racing down to find more about the Tila Cal and their technology. We know now that they are a people that can transport entire planets from star system to star system. And the scope of what they've done in the Shackleton Expanse is a lot of those gravimetric readings we've been encountering after every mission is because of like the leftovers of their technology being used. But we don't know what happened to the Tila Cal. And just as we were about to get answers, Assessor Tredick transported everyone back to their ship and put a planet-wide shield around the planet, and then just like flicked his fingers and folded space and sent you back to Narendra Station. Several days' journey in the snap of a finger. And we were all left going, what the hell? Just as we got reports that enough is enough. People are the tension has risen with the aggressive actions from the Romulans. And so a council of war is now being convened at Narendra Station. And that is where we find ourselves now. A few days have passed as the rest of the flotilla has been recalled. The U.S.S. Papa Bear and the U.S.S. Triton have come into dock at Narendra Station, along with the Mapool, who wasn't folded through space and had to make the regular journey because it had already left Candidate 3 at the time that the Horizon was sent off, and Captain Akul arriving kind of fed up with what the Horizon gets up to all the time. And we'll start with Captain Schofield and his counselor Taval. Is there something you would where do we find you on the ship or the station? You're preparing. You're getting your briefing on a pad. Maybe Taval is delivering that. Taval. I keep calling Taval. Tazar is arriving with your briefing from the Admiralty on this council that's being convened, and you have a moment here to interact with each other as you get ready to either beam over to Narendra, or maybe we're docked properly this time. So there's like a gangway. There's a platform that you can just walk across over to Narendra Station.
Captain's log, stardate 48964.5. We're docked at Narendra Station under red alert conditions and on the way to a war council with Admiral Hebert, General Kargan, and the senior staffs of the other Federation ships stationed here. I suspect we're going to be ordered back to the Candidate 3 system, which suits me just fine. We left rather unexpectedly and unwillingly, and I'd like to have some words with Assessor Tredick if I get the chance, and try to get to the bottom of whatever secrets he's hiding about the strange alien transmission we received while on the planet.
The Triton and the Papa Bear, an Akira and Intrepid class respectively, have arrived at Narendra, and you can maybe see them out of the window as they're getting into docking at the station. The Mapool is there taking repairs after their encounters with the planet and the Romulans, and now we're walking in towards our war council, and it's just the two of you.
Captain, after seeing that transmission, we need to go back. We need to find out exactly what's going on. We need the bigger picture here. I feel like we did not get a chance to be able to do what we were meant to do in that moment.
I fully agree.
Yeah. How do you feel we should proceed in this situation?
Well, obviously Assessor Tredick was upset with how things turned out. With the ensuing conflict damaging whatever equipment was there, and something about the true way, and I definitely want to know more about that. And I definitely want to know more about that extraordinarily advanced technology that just flipped us like a coin across the universe, like it was nothing.
Indeed.
I don't want to figure that out, but all in all, sort of want to maintain that, help whoever we can, and those people on the other side of the transmission look to be in a lot of distress. So whatever we can do, even in our limited technological capacity by comparison to them, whatever we can do to help, I want to help.
Yeah, I mean, I already feel that way very much about the Horizon, working on issuing some policies to ensure the safety of everybody here. But I can't help but also worry about them as well, and exactly what their situation may be.
Meanwhile, on Narendra Station, maybe we have our science officers going over and poring over the data as you're trying to figure things out. As you know, once this council is convened, your task force that was formed up in the last episode is now kind of at risk of being deemed obsolete, as we're worried. For your own anchoring, if you're listening and you're a big fan of Star Trek, this is happening at the exact same time as the season 3 finale of Deep Space Nine. At this time, there's worry over on the other side of the quadrant of a war with the Zenkathi, I think it were called, as well as paranoia among Starfleet as a whole that the changelings of the Dominion have infiltrated and are walking around acting like us, and have infiltrated all parts of Starfleet. And so tensions are high and people are less trusting to work with each other. And you're not getting the same kind of quick feedback you might have been getting from the Science Council, as well as being told you can't get new people to your departments. They're freezing transfers, or the authorization process is slowed down with a backlog. And it's all quite frustrating because you've got so much data from Candidate 3, and it's really just the two of you to look through it all. So how are things going with Chovaquil and Lassa?
Chovaquil, here is my blood sample to prove that I am still humanoid.
Thanks. I hadn't noticed.
I didn't ask for this, but
there are so few people that we can trust. I just want to make sure that we're, at least the two of us, remain on the cutting edge of these discoveries, despite the administrative bureaucracy.
It's really starting to frustrate the living hell out of me, this bureaucracy and this crap. I just want to get this stuff done. I just want to study as much as I possibly can, and this is just annoying.
The assessor mentioned that it was too soon, which means that we've seen hints of things that we might be able to access. We might be able to use to if we can convince the war councils that this information, this data is useful to them, there's more opportunity that we can stay at this as opposed to finding new ways to boost the tricorders or bandages.
I don't disagree, but at what point is this thing going to reveal when the most convenient time is? How kind of it to tell us it's not right now, but when is that time? Do we have that kind of time is the problem.
It's way too big for me to be able to think on their level. All we can do is work with what we have so far. Did you look at the data from when our ship was at the planet to suddenly outside the Narendra station? I just wondering if somehow that time and space folding, if there's anything in the tachyon that we could use.
I mean, maybe. Is there a dice roll I can make for
No,
this?
not yet.
No?
It's just there's just not enough time, and there's too much data, and the computer's trying to go through it, but you haven't even cataloged all of your information yet. Like you've got so many petabytes.
There's just too much. I just haven't been able to go through anything even remotely well enough. It just feels like all I'm doing is just scratching the surface.
You get a chirp on your pads reminding you have a meeting to get to, and
wonderful.
senior staff
Another
are to
meeting.
report to the briefing room at Narendra Station. Just at the same time that chirp goes out, Commander Haddock, you also get a chirp on your pad. Where do we find you? Where are you on the station?
Well, I don't know that I am on the station. I might be on the ship that's
You're on the
docked with
Triton.
Yeah, I'm on the Triton.
So you've just been away with Starfleet security, talking to them about the Klingons and your previous missions on the horizon, and the Triton has had their own adventures in the Shackleton Expanse, and they have now been in need of a new commanding officer. And so they have assigned you, at least for now, see how things are. Your reputation is doing a little bit better. They have given you command of an Akira-class starship. And so you are bringing the ship into docking at Narendra Station, and you receive a hail from the Mapool.
What is the crew complement of an Akira-class starship?
I think it's like 60. Tactical operations, scale of 5. Oh, it's a lot larger than I thought it was. Scale of 5, crew support 5. So I think where's the Horizon ship? Your character sheet. What's the scale on the Galaxy class?
6.
6.
So it's
okay,
smaller than Horizon.
So the
but not
Akira
by
is only
much.
one scale smaller than the Galaxy class. So it's actually it'd be like a crew complement more in the hundreds than the tens.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the Akira class was designed as a Borg fighting ship. It was designed with combat and defense of the Federation in mind.
So it's a fighter ship.
It's a tactical ship.
Yeah, it's combat.
It's a like a frigate, and
Ours
so
is much more science based.
The Galaxy class is deep space exploration, so it's designed to be kind of good at everything. But what the Akira definitely has over you is maneuverability and speed. This thing can freaking book it. It's got power behind its engines and its weapons, not so much its sensors and its computers. This thing is designed to go out, like, find trouble and shoot it, and that's what they call troubleshooting on an Akira class
Deal
ship.
with it.
So like a crew complement of like 450, that kind of thing?
Something like that. Yeah. Maybe a couple hundred, but with a capacity of more. You've got room for passengers, and so as you're doing that, you get a hail from the Mapool, the Klingon ship.
Captain O'Cool.
Yeah.
Long time no see.
His face comes up on the screen. If I was a betting man, some would say you have been avoiding me, Commander.
Not avoiding, just busy.
Too busy to contact an old friend.
Never. What can I do for you?
And he just kind of smiles across his face, and he's like, there's a war council being called. The first round of blood wine will be on me.
Sounds good. I'll see you there.
We'll put that shiny new ship of yours to the test. Finally, we're going to do something about this expanse of ours. Click.
Well, all right then. I like him too.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
I like that.
I might even say he's cool.
All right, so at the when you arrive into the room. You're all in here. You all see each other. Schofield and Haddock. You get your data pads, PADD, where you see the personal access data retrieval and something database. I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but you get them, and they identify like all the senior staff of the different ships, the task force running the Shackleton Expanse, Admiral Hebert and General Kargan, Captain O'Cool, and other senior members of the Klingon defense force that are there filling up half of Narendra Station.
I want to do, like, when I see Haddock, just do like the Commander Haddock, you son of a bitch, and do like the hand lock that they do from like the beginning of
Like
Predator.
Predator.
Yeah, because they do that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Captain Schofield. Long time no see.
Dad was gentlemen. Take your seats. She stands up to address the assembly in the room. Just a few hours ago, we learned that there has been an apparent coup of the Zenkethi homeworld. Starfleet is sending the U.S.S. Defiant to show the flag in the hopes of diffusing any potential aggression on the part of whoever happens to be in charge of the Zenkethi military. While the Federation's Zenkethi border is quite some distance from us, a potential renewed conflict with them is not something we need to be dealing with at this time. On more direct importance is the report of Romulan incursion into the Shackleton Expanse, as reported by Captain Schofield and the crew of the Horizon. Referenced in the recent mission report available on your pads, and you see like the displays of the Candidate 3 system, names like Assessor Tredic, the Romulans. It would seem that the Romulans are also interested in the M-class planet in the Candidate 3 system. General Kargan stands up. The way he wields his pad, he's wielding it like it's a blade in the air. Our deep space intelligence assets believe they recorded traces of cloaked Romulan warbirds crossing the neutral zone and entering the outer edges of the expanse. We believe they are planning a move towards the Candidate 3 system to lay claim to the technological treasures gathered there. Kargan indicates to Admiral Hebert and points to Captain Akul. In discussion with the Admiral, and he's walking, kind of doing this pacing across the front, we have decided to send all 3 Federation ships to secure and defend Candidate 3 system for our purposes and to deny it to the enemy. Captain Akul and his vessel will remain on point here at Narendra Station in case the Romulans foolishly attempt to attack us while you are away. The meeting is now going to break up into individual discussions at this point.
No. Well, he got to fight them last time.
So the meeting now kind of breaks up into individual places. You have a chance to ask the Admiral or the General any questions you may have about your mission before you are being sent off, as well as assignments to the ship. Haddock has been assigned to command the Triton and will be working with the Horizon. The U.S.S. Intrepid, or the Intrepid class U.S.S. Papa Bear, doesn't have... there's just NPCs assigned to them right now, but they don't really have any.
Does it have a CO?
And they have a crew on there, but they're lacking anyone with any knowledge of the Tilakal. Their surveys through the Shackleton Expanse have been kind of absent of coming across any of this stuff, and so they are out of their depth for Candidate 3. And would love to see any specialists from your task force, if you could spare.
And Candidate 3 was the system that we were just at before we got.
Yeah, it was the one
back
from the last
here.
episode. Yeah.
All right,
but they're heading back because now the Klingons are saying that their border probes have detected Romulans crossing over, and they think they're making a power grab for Candidate 3. It's gotten everyone's attention.
Especially considering we just got booted
and this
out,
time they're now sending you back not alone, but with all the remaining ships that are in the Shackleton Expanse.
Okay, and this third ship,
minus the Mapool.
Yeah, minus the Mapool. Now he's gonna be sitting there, dukes up, waiting to get some. If he's mad about it, I'm gonna try to make a comment about it. It's just like, you got to fight them last time. I want to turn. You just chill, like you just relax. What kind of ship is this third ship though? Describe it to me.
The Bellerophon.
Yeah.
Well, it was called the Papa Bear, but it's based off of a prefab ship from the Living Campaign called the U.S.S. Bellerophon. It's a Pathfinder and reconnaissance operation ship. It's Intrepid, which is what the Voyager is from U.S.S. Voyager.
Oh, cool.
From Star Trek Voyager. NCC 74705. So it's very close to being built around the same time as Voyager. Intrepid ships are brand new ship of the line. They use a bioneural gel for their computer systems.
Wow.
So the ship is kind of alive in that way. It uses biology to conduct information along instead of isolinear chips that are used on the Galaxy class.
Such a mistake.
And its nacelles go up and down when it goes to warp,
for
which is kind of like flashy,
years.
but is designed also to be like it does less environmental damage to subspace as it travels at warp, because we learned in the Next Generation, warp travel itself damages subspace.
Really?
And what is seen as like this environmental way to travel is like, actually it's not. And so they're having to design things like the Sovereign class that are currently under construction, the Intrepid, even the Nova, they're all designed with different warp design. One reason why they're not building any new Galaxy class ships is you're just kind of like the coal factory now.
We're the
Federation.
The old boats.
So it comes with advanced warp drive, sensor suites, medical hologram, rugged design, and it was designed. Its mission was sending it more along the farther edges of the Shackleton Expanse, away from both the Klingon and Romulan borders, out into deep space, and had been called back. So, but where they were seems to have been beyond the Tila Cal's influence. So they haven't really come across any of this, but they've been recalled into Render as well, along with the rest of the fleet.
Captain.
Okay.
Admiral.
I was about to say
Commodore.
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 You still haven't told Haddock this.
No, it hasn't been announced. But among other things, Schofield, the admiral, comes up to you and is, your ship has seen the most in the Shackleton Expanse, as well as Candidate 3. You'll be leading point on this mission. You will be fleet captain.
Okay.
We cannot, given the way gravimetrics has been, communications get cut off. You will not necessarily have the ability to reach out and get help. Yep. So you will be you'll be in command of the other 2 ships as well. So it's a temporary promotion, a field promotion.
That's okay.
Don't go around calling yourself Commodore just yet.
No.
So once again, you're my commanding officer.
Good luck. Good luck, fleet captain.
I hide the hat that I had as a present for you.
Oh, no.
Walks into the room, turns
Not
around
that.
suddenly.
That.
Cool.
So behind you, what just printed out is the character sheet for the Intrepid class ship as well.
Nice.
You don't have to use it. It's there as an NPC.
So
in fact, it's designed more of, in this campaign, you're supposed to only pick one ship. But we're the Terrible Warriors, and we do what we want.
It is more of a science vessel.
Captain, we have done everything together.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is time to put our expertise at the fore and work in tandem.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I like your thinking. You want to work aboard the Papa Bear?
I'm not ready to give up on the mysteries that we've had before us. I need more.
So do we. Absolutely. I'm all about that. I'm behind you 100%.
Yeah. Captain Akul walks up, throws his arms around both your shoulders, going, "Starfleet officers sharing their feelings."
Captain O'Cool.
Don't worry, we'll keep this station afloat while you're gone. I won't let them get a scratch on it.
Captain O'Cool.
I think
You just saw him last week fighting Romulans.
Yeah,
He was throwing batleths through their back.
Good to see you're still standing.
I was going to say, I'm thinking we both hope that they try to take
And
the
he
station.
kind of pulls back his thing. He's got this nasty scar from when he got shot with a disruptor blast.
Nice.
And he's kind of I'll give them back one for sure.
Yeah.
Captain O'Cool, how do you feel about being benched for this mission?
I hardly think defending the home. How do you feel about being second fiddle?
I was going to say,
They got fiddles in Klingons?
they must. Clearly.
It's a human phrase, but I'm trying to acclimate.
Of course, yeah.
Teth is just
and they're
rolling
just-
his
they're just
eyes
Mac
like he can
laughs.
see his brain.
Yes.
Captain O'Cool, I was going to say,
Stab.
if you're
Humans.
comfortable leaving your second in charge of defending the station, you'd be welcome aboard my ship.
Oh, don't worry. If I hear you're in any trouble, I'll make sure to come to your rescue, my princess.
And if you're all done measuring your members, should we talk about something a little bit more on point?
Who is this guy?
Oh, this is Lieutenant Commander Teth Jovaquil.
He's an Andorian who was originally
Andorian.
assigned to the U.S.S. Revelation,
I see that.
which was almost destroyed in a supernova. We are the stars. So,
I see. And what do you do?
Medicine and sciences, sir.
Oh.
I drink and I know things.
That's what I do. No, he's been great. He was with us out at on our last foray and was instrumental working with Lieutenant Commander Szabo. We were doing great out there. Bolasa. It was great. And this is Counselor Tazar, because Starfleet apparently believes that I'm not doing well in the field, so they have assigned to me a counselor, which, though, to be honest, has been fantastic.
A counselor who's also an advisor.
Yeah.
Well, having a first officer who is an empath didn't work, so I guess a Vulcan counselor would maybe
Right,
do
you're
the
half
trick.
Betazoid, aren't you, during all this?
Yeah, he's half Betazoid.
Yeah, so they're like, we've dealt with too much emotions. Let's give you a little more stoicism. Maybe it'll help. The Papa Bear is commanded by Captain Christy Knight, and she's the captain of the ship, but understands that this is your task force, and is for the purposes of the mission, you do have some leeway to give orders, and so she'll be in command though, because both of you are still lieutenants.
Captain Knight. That's so cool.
Yeah, Captain Knight, Captain Christy Knight.
So neat.
Knight, of course, with a K.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And Christy with a K?
Yeah, like Knight. Yeah, KK.
Conal with a K.
With a K, yeah.
Conal with a K. Lots of Ks going on here, folks. So the ships are being loaded up for their mission. Captain Akul will say there'll be blood wine for you when you get back, and today is a good day to die. And all like, oh well, that's what they say. One by one, the ships can set course for Candidate 3. How are you preparing as we return to Candidate 3? It didn't go so well last time, and we know what we're heading back to this time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have a moment with the captain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What's up?
Captain,
Now, are you beaming over to the ship, or are you communicating?
I'm going to beam over.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Talk in the ready room.
Yeah, we both have ready rooms now.
Oh, yeah.
I'll come to yours.
Sure. Great.
I mean, the Intrepid ready rooms are huge, but we'll go to the smaller, more like
We have a food table.
No, I'm driving around in this old oil barge, but
Instead of a fish tank, you just have oil.
Yeah, it's an old ship for an old man. It's
like instead of rolling
with the fish
coals,
floating on the surface.
rolling crystal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lieutenant Commander.
Captain, I just wanted to take this moment. We have been through so much together. I wanted to take this moment to say thank you. I feel like being given this opportunity to explore, to see so much of the expanse and so many wonders. I could not have done it without your recommendation, your encouragement, mentorship. And I just wonder what's next for you.
Well, I think that everybody deserves to be given an opportunity to prove themselves. And you have proven time and again that you are capable and worthy of additional opportunities to continue doing well for yourself. My job is what it's always been. Take care of the people on my crew, make sure they have an opportunity to do their best, and move on to better parts.
But what are you going to do for yourself after this?
Keep busy, I guess. Keep working. Stave off retirement as long as I can. And that's always been my job, working on as captain of the ship, is just making sure everyone has an opportunity to do their best, to help everybody, and to, move on to bigger and brighter things. Certainly get off this old boat. Shit.
And I have a personal question, if you don't mind.
Of course.
This has been your home for so long. Do you ever miss where you're from?
Truthfully, no. This is where I'm from, as far as I'm concerned. This boat's my home. It's been my home for as long as I can remember now.
I felt the same way, and I feel a little bit of guilt that I haven't been back since we delivered that almost bomb. But I have. I feel a little. I feel like if that's the last time I see home, that's not a great memory for them or myself. But honestly, I still feel so much that my home is among the stars, and I just wonder, like, who I become as a person if that's true. Like, if I have no home except for a ship,
who do you become?
Yeah.
Well,
bloop bloop bloop. Computer's blurping. Both of you get bonus determination points. Oh, wrote them in for doing that.
Determination.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bloop bloop bloop.
Is that like a call?
Yeah, you got like your personal computer on your desk is chirping.
Is every time it chirps we get another determination? Because we can keep going.
I can wait.
Farming them.
Just farm determination points. Real quick before I answer that. It's not that bad being out here. It's quite nice.
Thank you, Captain.
I answer whatever's on that.
Stephen Prince there on the bridge.
Steve.
Sir,
Prince.
there's a priority 1 call coming in from Admiral Hebert. It's encrypted. Your eyes only.
All right. I'll have it in here.
I think that's my cue to leave, Captain.
We've got work.
We do.
Get back
This
to your
comes
ship.
up on your screen. I'm handing him a piece of paper.
All right.
It says, your eyes only, do not share.
Yeah. Do not share.
But whether you do is it's totally up to you. You're fleet captain. But
Can I read this to all the folks at home?
I would hold on to it. We will read it out, but I would definitely. Have you read it? Have you read it? You can read it, and you can decide what to do.
Reading it.
Read it.
So have a read for that. You get that message. You sit down, and the camera pans to another scene. Where do we find the 3 of you?
While he's reading it, obviously I have my own ship now, but
Yeah.
I haven't been back home. On the subject of home, I haven't been back home to the
to the horizon.
horizon in some time.
Yeah, you have your personal effects there.
Yeah, so
Volsar has finally lifted the quarantine on your quarters after your bout of Tellurian flu.
yeah. So I've gone back to collect
Your-
my things.
Your knife.
and
Basically,
now
you've gone back to collect your knife.
my knife.
Yeah.
And now I'd like to be, I guess, in tent forward.
Yeah, in their mess hall.
Just reminiscing on the good old days and looking around and realizing I don't recognize that many people
Yeah,
anymore
everyone's
because the
new.
crew has changed.
They're younger. A lot of them are more fresh cadets. This place is being used kind of like a training boat these days. We've got our counselors on board. Are you there slinging drinks, eating chocolate? What are you doing? I mean, you're a Vulcan, so probably not the chocolate part. But
I have
or the drinks.
maybe regrettably developed a very strong taste for these delicious cakey desserts. I
Yeah,
believe
cake
they're called
pops.
donuts.
oh, donuts.
Donuts.
But only plain donuts,
Delicious.
like old-fashioned plain.
Oh, those are
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, the icing
Absolutely,
is
but
far too
nobody will
sugary for
know.
Vulcan taste
Nobody-
buds.
Yes. Thinking about how we're going to move forward.
So, Haddock, you're there at the bar, and you see this young Vulcan over by an ensign. It was an ensign or a lieutenant junior grade?
Lieutenant Junior.
A lieutenant. So there's a lieutenant there, and she's over by the window, like those big, like floor-to-ceiling windows at the front of 10 forward, like savoring morsels of this little bites at a time, but with a knife and fork, like taking a slice and then eating a bit of a donut, and then taking another slice, and just like little slivers of donut, like, and then contemplating each taste, eyes closed.
So
and
I
then returning
haven't
it back to the plate.
I haven't worked with too many Vulcans in my time, but
This Vulcan's got more of like Savik's hair. It's like a lot long and
Yep.
flowing. It's not kind of done up in that more.
I've certainly never
restrictive
seen one
style, severe
enjoying a dessert quite like she is. And I'd like to use my empathic ability to see if her Vulcan emotions are really as repressed as they might appear to be on the
Vulcans
surface.
don't repress emotions; they just compartmentalize them. And
Well, you know
put
what I
them away
mean.
and shut
You
them
know
off.
what I mean. Yeah, turn them off.
Like a
Until
light
plot
switch.
point brings them out.
Yeah.
I believe enough mindful meditation has taught me how to tune that out in a
It's
positive
still,
manner, in a healthy
Respectfully
way.
enjoy
It
the
is. No, I mean your Vulcan.
This donut.
Your emotions aren't overwhelming. You're just
No.
like curious about this
Just
human.
so fascinated by
delicacy.
this cakey
Yeah,
deliciousess.
it's better than root beer.
Ew. I don't know why.
It's so
I
bubbly.
enjoy it.
Is
so
this
much.
seat
It's so
taken?
fizzy. It stings my tongue.
Is this seat taken?
No.
Just
By all
like the
means.
Federation.
I'll take a seat.
There's a great scene where Quark and Garrick, a Ferengi and a Cardassian, both try root beer while everyone's off fighting the war, and they're like, "Oh, it's so bubbly and happy, just like the Federation." And the worst part is, you try enough of it, and you'll start to like it, just like the Federation.
It's insidious.
Insidious, yeah.
Yes.
Just like the
just
Deep Space
the
Nine had this
right
obsession where
adjective.
humans love root beer in the future for some reason.
Sounds
Anyways,
great.
we return to Haddock and to Czar.
Yes, by all
Commander
means.
Haddock.
Yeah.
We haven't been formally introduced, but I'm Commander Haddock.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Tazar. Would you like to have a bite of this cakey donut?
I think I will.
Please.
I'll get my own cakey donut.
I'm starting to
It's
try
the first
and
time I've ever had a
understand.
donut with a fork and knife.
Oh,
Oh, I'm not having it with a fork and knife. I'll get my own cakey donut. I'll eat it with my mecla.
That's severe.
You're quite brash, I see.
So you also don't know how to eat a donut. So does anyone on this crew know how to eat a donut? At this point, does Chovaquil show up being like, "Ooh, that's new," and then come up with an inventive way to eat a donut?
Just sees like a plate of them and just like, "Aw."
Is Captain Schofield the only one that eats it, quote unquote, old fashioned with his goddamn hands?
Teth breaks it up into small bites and then just palms
Yeah, you
them.
actually take like a laser cutter and, and you like do it into like perfect cubes.
Yeah.
So that you can have them with toothpicks.
Yeah.
You can get to eat them like hors d'oeuvres.
Appetizers. That's quite nice.
Weird.
I might lend
Lhasa, you're not in the scene, but how does Szabo eat a donut?
I have them as smoothies in little beakers. So I actually
you
chug
blend
them.
them.
Back. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Just shoots them.
Blended donut.
It's not preferable, but
Yeah.
to each their own.
Of course. Of course.
What's happened to your ship, Schofield?
I don't know. Kids these days.
A determination point for the three of you for coming with inventive ways to eat donuts. Chovaquil, how are you preparing as we're flying back to Candidate 3?
I think what he normally kind of does, which is kind of familiarize himself with his surroundings in the
third
area.
ship and so many adventures.
Yeah, so again, kind of like popping into the medical bay and seeing what he's got and access to him.
Oh, so when you walk into the medical bay, one of the nurses there is really excited that there's like a physical being who's going to be maybe their chief medical officer on the Papa Bear, because she's trying to talk to the emergency medical hologram, who is just not having it today and is just like not understanding like I am an emergency. State the nature of the medical emergency. I'm not here to be run for more than 12 minutes at a time.
So like as he enters the room, he sees this and he's going to be like, "Hi, what can I do for you?" Walking towards the terminal.
Yeah.
And as he gets to the terminal, is like, "Is there anything I can help you?" He reaches down and flicks it off.
Both the EMH and the nurse both turn to you at the same time, going, "I'm so glad you're here." And then the EMH turns off, as they were both going to complain to you both about the other person, about how I can't work in this situation. They're saying in unison, as in
just flicks her right
EMH
off.
Flicks away.
Yeah, I've never been fond of them.
And she's like, "Oh, finally, something tangible." All right, we've got a whole lot of crew members and not a whole lot of cross sections we need to go through, and she's going through all like this paperwork that they have to do that the EMH was like refusing to do. So now they got this backlog on just getting a proper catalog and census of the crew that are on board. They don't really know. Like the manifest keeps changing every time they end up at that station.
Do we have any idea of how many people we have at our?
Yeah, Intrepid. It's about 140 people.
As far as that we could use as far as our department.
Oh, as far as your department, I mean, I'm not going to throw any curveballs at you. You've got a fully
everything that
fleshed
we need.
medical bay. But the nurse is just like immediately like, "Oh, great, someone with a bright rank. You're in charge now." And it's like there's not even a question about it. It's or the EMH.
What is it that you feel needs to focus on right now?
I mean, we're about to be flying into potentially a combat situation, so we just need to, go and check our triage, make sure we're ready to support.
Yeah. Let's make sure that everything that we're going to possibly need.
We're flying in. We don't know what we're flying into, and if these Tilical are real and in need, this might be a first contact mission as well. So being ready to learn on the fly
prep everything that we're going to need for injuries, as well as prep everything we might need.
Wait
for
a second, I know you. You were in the briefing. You've already been there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
And the agency's like bringing up like the schematics and the tricorder readings on Assessor Tredic. What do you know about this being?
It feels like we know next to nothing. We're standing in front of this being.
What does he assess?
I have no idea what his title even means. I have no idea what he's assessing.
He can read minds? Is he like
He seems to be able to communicate. Who?
Keeps throwing questions at you of like all these like power beings that have been discovered over the years. And
Okay, so no, he seems to be some sort of other being with no idea what he assesses. He was able to transport us across all of space to get us here in only a second, and we had next to that we have very little information, and we're trying the best to try and figure out more about him, but with all of the crap that's been going on recently, that's proving to be very, very difficult.
I'm curious who my first officer is on this ship of mine.
Lieutenant Commander Gordon. Commissioner.
I was gonna go with Flash.
Yeah, well, that's where my head went because we're in space, but now obviously,
With Christy Knight, yeah. Oh no.
Actually, let's just say, so the crew has nicknamed him Flash, even though it's Carlton Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Lieutenant Commander Gordon, I'll be your XO on the ship. Friends call me Flash.
Just always walks around with
All
a
right,
football.
Lieutenant Commander Gordon.
Always got his phaser.
Friends call me.
It's one of the old school ones.
Don't worry, I'll look after the crew, make sure they are all in ship shape. Running them through combat drills as your orders.
Of course.
Back on your ships, if nothing else, we're going to arrive in Canada 3. Canada 3. No, Candidate 3. And then we'll end this episode.
So polite.
So each of you are on the bridges of your respective ships. You have your printouts of your different ships there. So as you come out of warp near Candidate 3, all three of you, kind of all happening at the same time, your ships, as they come out of warp, it's like you come out of warp hard. As soon as you come into the system, red alert klaxons go off and shields start moving up and gravimetric disturbances are hitting you. And what this system was like when you left is not like it is now. The state that it's in is so much worse. And just before the computer automatically registered and put up shields and activated red alert, all three of your ships got hit with massive gravimetric waves that you basically slammed into at full warp just as you were coming out. And so the whole ships just rock and throw you over, and inertial dampeners are going. Each of the ships are going to be pummeled by various disturbances, effectively hit with an energy attack.
Pummeled.
So, pummeled.
Yeah.
Time for the
you
Star
say that
Trek
this hits
ship's
us?
shaken move.
I'm grabbing 66 here, and I'm rolling first on the horizon.
Did you say this hits us before we have time to put shields up? Is that what you said?
Before it all happens, like as you rolled into. So, not including shields directly onto the hull of the ship, you're taking 5 damage to the horizon. Defensive screens, emergency procedures come into play. It's kind of guaranteed that your ship's going to get a breach when this happens. Because without it going to shield, what's the resistance on? Can I see? It's 6.
6, yeah.
So it was hit with 5, but piercing 2. Roll an additional system. That system suffers an additional hit, dealing half the attack's damage, rounding up. Ooh. Oh, shit. Okay, so the system damage I'm rolling for is a 4, which... Engines. 4 is engines.
Okay.
So you're taking 1, because its resistance is 4, and I gave you 5 damage. So 1 damage to your engines, and 6... So 6 is also engines, but only half the damage. So that would be 3. I think you're fine. That's only 1 ship. The other 3 are also being attacked. So very quickly, I've got 66 on the Triton. Okay, so it's only 3 damage, but 3 effects. So piercing 2, piercing 2, piercing 2. It's 3 damage is going to go right through. You don't have any resistance. So you get 3 damage plus 1 damage to your structure and 1 damage to your sensors.
So 4 to my structure.
So
and
the
1
Triton
to
gets
sensors.
walloped.
Oh.
You kind of come in and you just kind of get hit.
Oosh.
So you're not
To my
taking
sensors.
like 4 breaches. Whenever you deal 1 or more damage when your shields are 0, so you do suffer 3 breaches.
So I suffer 2 to my structure and 1 to my sensors. Got it.
Yeah.
You are vented into space. Good
So
job.
so you've got hull breaches on your ship. Shields kick in. People, maybe 1 or 2 crew members are sucked out into space. But the shields go up, and the structural integrity is holding your ship together as soon as you go to red alert. And your sensors have been breached as well, which means they're draining power whenever you try to use them to scan and whenever you want to use against them. And so, meanwhile, on the U.S.S. Papa Bear with Lhasa.
Don't worry, a few people got vented
You
into
come out of
space.
warp at the you come out of warp.
shield
You come out of warp at the same time as the rest of them. 7 points of damage and 1 effect. So You take also 3 is engines, and that's just 3 again. Let's roll a different number. And a 10 is structure. So you take breaches to your ship. So you go in, red alert, ship's exploding. People taking engine damage, sensor damage, structural damage. You're being rocked all over the place, and you arrive in the Candidate 3 system.
Do the Star Trek shake.
And this place doesn't look like it used to. How do you react in each of your situations? So who's on the bridges of their ships? Counselor, you're up on the bridge as well, and Lhasa and Haddock are on the bridges of their ship, and Dr. Chovaquil, are you? Or where are you when this?
Medical bay.
So you're in the medical bay. Everything just kind of goes to hell, and things are falling over, and there's vials shattering in your office. You just moved them in here.
Just got here, Jesus.
And
this is why we can't have nice things.
So how are you reacting here as you go to red alert, and you're seeing like the navigating of the place? When you were last here in Candidate 3, it was a hell of a time navigating through it, and this is a briar patch
Just a nightmare
of nightmare. And
so I mean, the red alert immediately activates, and the shields immediately go up.
You're like getting casualty reports from old decks, bumps and bruises mostly, but. The ship pretty much held together, but you are reporting like some major damage on different ships. Some of you are getting breaches. On the Triton, there are reports of a few missing crew members. When you deal with structural damage like that, sometimes whoever's in the hallway at the wrong time.
Damn.
I want to hail the horizon.
So you hail each other. All 3 of the captains. Are up on the screen. So you got like a split screen teleconference on your view screen.
Group Skype
and it's just like
call.
smoke going. There's a guy with the extinguisher kind of like blowing out like one of the consoles in the back of the deck. Goodness!
Report damages.
Yeah, we lost a few people over here.
Damn.
What's going on?
We got hit in the engines a little bit. Seems like the gravimetric disturbance has grown in severity since we've been here a moment ago. It was not this bad when we were here.
Yeah,
just
this doesn't
yesterday.
match the report at all.
There's another like wave, like they're like licking you as these bands of gravimetric waves are moving across the system.
Captain, I haven't seen what's out there yet, but we have experienced this before.
Oh, go on.
The
Explain.
convoy. When you were with the first mission you had with the Mapool, and you were escorting the convoy crews, and you were brought into.
I remember
Nebula.
this.
Oh, right. Yep. Okay. So stations. Let's get those repairs up as quick as we can and get to work.
And just as you begin talking and recovering, you sense something, all of you, otherworldly. As all that noise, the hissing, the klaxons, everything starts going silent. Like someone's just like bringing the volume level down and putting it on mute. And then you hear a voice in all of your minds. You hear the voice from the Tilakal ruins. The only one who wouldn't recognize it would be Commander Haddock. It's the voice of Assessor Tredick in all of your minds.
You've come back. Please, I need help to protect them all. I cannot transport you down and save them at the same time. Please, help me.
Going to resist the urge to be like, well, maybe if you needed my help, you shouldn't have flipped me across the fucking galaxy. But we're going to go help some people out. Time to do like the Federation and save some lives.
Another gravimetric field slams into the ships, and you can hear everything back again. All the volume comes back in. It's like a little louder. And your view screen is filled with like this prismatic spray of light, halos of electric blue energy, and space is unfolding in and of itself in a kaleidoscopic display. And where our episode is going to end just as your view screens are freaking out, a planet emerges through the unfolding passage and pulls into orbit around the Class M planet of Candidate 3. So it's just like this kaleidoscopic display, the same thing that folded the ship into the render station, just kind of is happening in front of you, and all of a sudden this whole planet appears in orbit around the Class M planet you were aiming for. And we'll come back next week because we got stuff to deal with,
What
y'all.
the shit?
Oh, fuck.
That's not good.
It's not that good. That planet's too close to that other planet. We're going to deal with Assessor Tredick and the Displaced here in our next episode as we wrap up the living campaign here on the Terrible Warriors. I'm Justin Ecock, trying to remember how to play this game, learning the rules as we go, surrounded by my intrepid crew of Starfleet officers, now on 3 different ships. We're going to need 3 ships to deal with this. Our captain of the Horizon,
Conal Macbeth, better known in the nerd community as Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terrawat, playing Captain Gavin Schofield.
Our newly minted chief medical officer, who I guess we left without Volsar. We left by. He's meanwhile back in Render Station. Guys, where'd you go? Dang it, they left without me.
I got donuts for everybody.
I got donuts. He says with like donuts with little flags on all of them because no one knows how to eat a donut on this ship. Anyway, our CMO on the Horizon.
Neil Tavares, Neil T. Tattoos, playing Lieutenant Commander Teth Chobik-Will.
Ship's counselor, it's your job to keep everyone calm.
Erika, delicious cakey goodness. Szabo. I am playing Tazar, our Vulcan counselor.
Our commander of the U.S.S. Triton.
Joshua Barbeau, a.k.a. Commander Conal Haddock.
And representing the fine people of the U.S.S. Papa Bear.
I am the Velvet Duke of the Dandies. I am Science Officer Lieutenant Commander Bo Laza.
And we'll see you all next time right here on the Terrible Warriors. Bye. The Terrible Warriors have new episodes out every Tuesday, and our final run through Star Trek Adventures continues next week with Part 2 of The Displaced. Follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors to stay up to date on all the exciting things we've got planned in the future. And if you like what you hear and you want to support independent podcasters like us, consider chipping in for some support at our Patreon page at patreon.com/Terrible Warriors. We offer exclusive briefing episodes for our supporters and host private games every month. Speaking of private games, we've also teamed up with the Storm Crow Manor to host games through the DM and Dine program. You and your adventuring party will get a full appetizer and meal and 4 hours with a game master to run a game for you. For more information, visit dmdineto.com and request Justin Ecock for your next game at the Storm Crow Manor in Toronto. Star Trek Adventures is published by Modiphius Entertainment, and the living campaign episode The Displaced is written by Jim Johnson. Today's Terrible Warriors and your crew of the Horizon, the Triton, and the Papa Bear are Velvet Duke, Conal Macbeth, Erika Szabo, Neil Tavares, Joshua Barbeau, and Game Master Justin Ecock. Return to us next week, dear listener, for the second chapter in our final Star Trek Adventures campaign, right here on the Terrible Warriors.